This is just a 2000, I think it's a 2010 Jeep Wrangler. So these are what it's going to look like here from 2007 to 2010. You're basically going to have your window switches here, your two air cons here, and you have this small unit. So we're going to put the VD head unit in today. It's going to replace this whole fascia here. We'll just cover what you get in the kit here. So obviously the main fascia, it's a fairly large one. The display unit, the actual head unit part. See in the back here, it's a main 20 pin plug, auxiliary plugs, FM antenna plug, Wi-Fi, GPS. Some of the parts in the original fascia will clip into here. Then on your wire side here, you get like your GPS antenna, so make sure like square one there. External microphone. These are pretty small cars, so on this Jeep, so you probably won't even need to use this. A 1080p colour reverse camera. One USB plug. So you've got 3 USBs coming out of this unit. The extra one's handy if you're running a dash cam or something. Auxiliary input. Most people will not actually need this plug, so you can actually leave this one to the side. Pre-outs, again, if you're using the factory system, you won't need it. If you're using an aftermarket amp, you'll need to use the pre-outs. Wi-Fi antenna, again, this needs to be left up floating in, like around the back. Our video input cable. Our USB cable, so 2 USBs and external mic. Like an update USB. We just include this because it's formatted correctly, so when we do release the updates, you can use this. 2 easy adapter kits and a CAN bus box. So depending on what one's going to suit your car, there is 2 in here. If you use either one, you just need to swap the CAN bus box over. Plug in this white plug here. You can change it onto the harness you're using. 2 radio adapter cables, depending what one your car has. Trim removal tools and an OBD2 scan tool. And that's everything that's in the kit. And this one here is going to start at the top here. Just get your trim removal tool each side down here. So once you've popped those 2 back corners of this piece here, it just pulls stuff forward and up. It'll just come off there. You can see obviously it has this little clip here. So you just need to pull it forward off that, and it'll pop out. Then you can see we've got 2 small screws on either side. It's what we're after. Then we're going to pop the bottom off down here to get to 2 more screws as well. So again, down here, just below all your switches here, because this whole thing's one panel. So you get your trim tool in there, pop off that, and again, hopefully you might be able to see down here, we should have 2 of those same screws that we have at the top, down the bottom here. So 1 on each side. So those are the 4 we have to undo now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that'll allow the whole thing to pop off. So again, just your 2 at the top here. It's like a 7mm socket. Just take off these 4 and the 2 down the bottom. Once those 4 screws are out there, just pull from the bottom, and then if you get your hands into the air con vents here, you can pull those 2, and then just up the top. You'll see this whole piece here will just pop off. Then obviously there's a few cables behind the back here. As we're going to be replacing this whole fascia, we just want to remove everything we can. Now on the aircon module here, you got 2 Phillips screws on each side. So if you can get something small in there, I'd like to take them out. In this case here, I've just used a Phillips on the end of a socket. Just whatever you can use to fit in there. And you got 2 on the other side as well. So just pop out those 2 on the side as well. So you can see the the aircon's out right now. Then down the bottom here, you've just got 3 plugs that will unplug. They just all have push latches on top of them. So I'll show you those in a second. But there's your SIG glider 1, your 2 SIG gliders, and all your buttons down the bottom. And then that's everything apart from your aircon switches here. then the whole thing, this whole part will like pull off like that. So just explain what we've done here is we just undid these 4 screws around the aircon. We pulled out the 3 plugs down the bottom here, which are 1, 2, 3. All these plugs just have a little push down on them, so you just need to find where it is. This one here, push down. Again, this one has a push down on it as well, push down, and this one has a push down on it as well, push down and pull out. Then the other one was like your Windows lock switch here. This just like it pulls out, so you have to like push this like safety up like first. There's gonna be a bit tight, so it's like easiest just to push it from the bottom here. Just use a trim removal tool to push it up, and then you can like pull it with the push down. And that's all the old fascia out. Now the main unit itself, you just got again 7mm screws, 1, 2, 3, 4. They just need to be popped out. Now obviously just going to give the unit a bit of a pull, and it's going to come out, and you're just going to have your plugs in the back here that need to be unplugged. So you got an antenna plug, so that's what came out of the back there. 1, 2, 3. And just to show you what they were, this was the antenna one here, so make sure you obviously push down here to pull it out, otherwise you can pull these out. So Farker plug for the antenna, your main plug here, again push down when you pull it out, and just a small auxiliary plug, again push down when you pull it out. And that's all your plugs out. Now the first thing you always do here is we just want to obviously like mock the unit up and ensure everything works. So grabbing your FN and antenna cable, obviously that plugs into here, like so. It'll clip down, and then we're just going to plug our main plug in. That's all we have on this model. So that plugs in like that. Again, not 100% sure what that one's for. Some models have it sitting here even though it's not being used, so depending, there could be different models around the world that use that. So grab the actual unit, plug those 2 plugs in. This is just a test to make sure obviously sound works and we have like a power coming through. Always pays to do this. Hit start, make sure everything's as it should be. So again, I'll mock it up there. Put the keys in, so you're on ACC. It's always a good sign when you get a bit of power. Now you can see the CAN bus is hooked in, which is good, because it showed us the door was open. So cool. Radio's working. I could tell the CAN bus is working because what I saw at the start there. So that's all there is to check on this one. Basically, there's no steering wheel controls or anything else, so we just want to check the power's working. And that's all good. Now just putting a reverse, I just wanted to see if this did pick up reverse on the CAN bus, which it doesn't. But it's fine, we'll deal with that when we do the reverse camera. So that's it all done. Now the only other thing you want to check here is obviously once you've hooked it up, they've got reverse camera, that it all works. So just excuse me not having 10 hands. If we put this into reverse here, you can see the reverse cameras all come up all good there, so that is just like one thing to check as well. Now if you look on the back here, you can see we've put the a grey like 6-pin plug here in, and that is hooked into the purple one, into the camera, into the black one coming from the camera, and the green cable here is tapped into like an orange and black one. So that's what we need to join that into to put in the aftermarket reverse camera. There's a few things that have to come out of the old fascia here to go into the new one. Obviously you've got buttons down here, fairly straightforward. 1, 2, 3, 4 Phillips head screws. Pull out that. Your conditioner switch, your window switch. It has little tabs on either side, so if you put like a trim tool down each like side here, and then I pull it backwards, and your aircon vents, which just turn and drop out, and obviously your 2 cigarette plugs. So again, those just have some like springs on them that have to be like pushed in and pushed forward. So just putting the parts obviously lock back into the fascia, and they all just obviously go in how they came out. Using the screws from the original one. Then we've got our other window switch here, so when you take this out of the old one, obviously you can see it's got 2 clips on this side. Just get your trim tools in each side and I'll wedge it out. Come out fairly easy like that. So just clips back in. Here you have the cigarette plugs down at the bottom here, so when you take these out, you actually got to push in these 2 little holes you can see in here at the moment, so they'll have black like tabs in them, so push those in and push this forward, and then you're left with the ring obviously to take out, so then when it goes back in, it just goes in reverse. And that's how that goes back in like that. So obviously that can only fit in like one way, how it lines back in. This it might be a bit hard to see, but obviously this like silver part, it does come out of here. So the 2 plastic bits that are holding these in are here, and there's one on the other side. So you just got to work it like a flathead like screwdriver in and push them backwards to get them out. They are a little bit hard to get out, and then obviously once they're out, you've just got the 2 clips here on either side to push out like the ring part. Which that part is fairly easy. It'll just pop out like that, so that's easy. Let's see, slide like the ring back in. There's a little gap that you can push like both the clips into as you go through. Then obviously this has to come through here to where it lines up to be. Can only fit in one way. See, that clips in like that, and that's your the cigarettes back in. And then you've got your like brass clips on here. So the easiest way to poke off these, you just use like a flathead screwdriver on both sides, and just clip these off and clip them on the other one. So you can see there's a few here. 1, 2, 3, like 4 we need to get off. So there you go, that's almost everything back in there now. 2 cigarettes, the switch, 2 aircons, the window switch, our clips here, 3, 4. The aircon we'll put on, obviously with our left in the car to save us taking the cables off. That'll all go back in now. Alright, so now that all the fascia's done, we'll just put all the cables we need. Obviously got like main harness one here, put in before, so that plugs into there. Obviously that's our adapter for the radio. That goes into there. You have the GPS here. This can just be mounted just up in here somewhere, or your afters, so it can sort of like see through the sort of sky, and obviously not be blocked by metal. So there isn't like a metal above it there. So you can choose. We'll probably just put it here on this one. I think that'll be good. That's our GPS. Then we have two USB cables and like a mic cable here. I'm not going to be using the mic because in this car you're going to be sitting so close to it anyway. The internal mic is going to be fine. There's no factory USBs in here, so normally when that's the case, is you just normally end up running them down the side of here and like popping them out. So you get them out in your center console somewhere. That's normally the best way to do it. But on this one too, we are going to, it's fine, we'll use these two for this. I'm putting like a dash cam in this model, so we're going to actually use our third USB for that, but we'll run these down here. So basically they'll end up coming down below the aircon, and we'll put them out the bottom somewhere. I've actually run the two USBs there just down the side here. You can get into the glove box very easily. So just run them across here. You can pass them across with your hand. So we've just popped it straight down there, straight in there, and then they've just come through to the glove box there. So that worked out pretty well. Wi-Fi antenna can just float off the back, so we'll just screw that in when we put it in. The other one we have here is just our third USB. The third USB on like this one here, because we are going to be running like a dash cam, we will run this out somewhere where we can get to it to run up the side to run like the dash cam. Now it's just a matter of putting everything back on in reverse. Obviously aircon, the outlet plugs in the bottom for the 2 cigarettes and the buttons. Obviously we've got our power window switch here, and then we've got like all our cables up here. So try run like most of them through the holes. There's a couple of holes on the dash here, so they obviously are not in the way of this bit. And then when it kind of slides in, you sort of want to, I've tucked some down here, so you kind of want to just like tuck the cables out of the way. This obviously will sit back in there, and that's how all that will go in. Hopefully you can see behind here, see everything plugged in like the main, it's like 20 pin plug, the GPS, which we've tucked the excess cable down there. Our Wi-Fi antenna can just sit on top, it's screwed onto that side. And we've got our 3 plugs down here. We've got our 2 USBs which are going to our glove box, our extra USB which is going up above the dash for dash cam, and our reverse camera. So now what we'll do is we'll hopefully push the unit back up and into place. Just make sure obviously, because the aircons slide into both the holes, that you don't have anything blocking that where the aircons are going to slide in. It's the unit all pushed in there, so just remember to push in those like 4 spots where those brass steel connectors were down there. And then when we go back through, we're going to I just put our 4 screws back in. Yeah, Pope has put the top couple in for now, and then we'll just always do like to test everything before you go and put it all back together, just to make sure it's all still working fine. So we'll just put our 2 top screws in here to hold this in place. Alright, so basically all in. Just obviously when I was talking about before was like to press here and down here, just in those spots where those brass connectors you actually took off the main frame were. steel connectors. You'll feel them go bang, clip in when they do clip in. So now I'll just power everything up. Just like to do this obviously to make sure we have like power, which is a good start, and that we have the reverse camera working and sound. So it's cool, CAN bus is working obviously because it's showing that. And the radio's obviously working, so it's cool. That's all we want to see. And obviously, also, sorry, the other thing is reverse. Yep. Alright. Now I can put those, all those like sort of like from 1, 2 and the 2 down the bottom with the 4 screws back in properly. So those are 1, 2, 3, 4 back in. And obviously the like a bottom panel will clip back on, and then the top panel to go back on, and then that's all done. So the reverse camera on like this one, the cable has come out here and gone under here, and on the middle here there's a grommet going underneath the car. Then we've just gone completely underneath and on top of the chassis rail, and we've come down the back out here. Obviously you need your positive and like a negative here, which comes with this like red one, which will be hooked into the reverse lights. So we just ran 2 wires just like straight out of here, extended them down, and hooked them up here because obviously this wire wasn't quite long enough. And then this here is obviously like our RCA one, which is going back to the front of the car. So that's all hooked up. Then we're probably going to mount it right in the middle here, and put this just like pop the wires. So this part here has just been like popped off here, and we've just screwed the camera into here. So you can see obviously in the back of it, it's just like drilled a hole, and that's going to sit through there like that. It's the install all finished there now, so good job. It's looking good. Reverse camera's in.